Hello, my name is Katerina and today we will talk about renting a condominium in Vaughan. We will look into the rental prices and useful tips for both landlords and tenants. Also, in this video, we will look into some important details about renting a condo. Average rent prices for condos in Vaughan. One-bedroom condo in Vaughan is offered at $2,200. One-bedroom plus den costs $2,300 and two bedrooms cost $2,600. When you enter a rental agreement for the first time, the landlord decides the amount of rent you will pay, and both services like hydro, water, parking, etc. are included. Although rental housing prices are based on current market prices in Ontario, there are no limitations to what a landlord may ask for rent once tenant moved out. The current market price for a unit can be significantly higher than what the tenant before you paid. There is no maximum amount of rent that a landlord can charge a new tenant, with some exceptions. How often can a landlord increase rent? In Canada, landlords can raise the rent for tenanted units only every 12 months, and the minimum of 12 months must have passed since the tenant moved in. What is not rent controlled? New residential apartment buildings, condos, or houses that were occupied for the first time since November 15, 2018 are not rent controlled. Landlords can increase the rent year over year to whatever they want, and they are not required to follow any guidelines. They must, however, wait 12 months before they can increase the rent and give 90 days notice. A clause in rental agreements is being used quite often lately. The clause reads, tenant acknowledges there is no rent increase limitations after 1 year lease is over, but this is only for properties built after November 15, 2018. Dwellings built before November 15, 2018 are subject to guidelines with maximum increase amount that is placed by guideline limits. For example, in 2020, the limit was 2.2%. In 2021, the limit was 0% due to pandemic. And in 2022, the limit will be 1.2%. If you consider offering your property for lease, you may use Rental Properties website in Toronto, and I suggest the following process with your rental candidates. Before on all tenant applications, meet the applicants in person where possible, ask a lot of questions, review physical copies of documents if possible. If they agree, ask them to log in to one of the credit check companies in person to verify the legitimacy of reports and credit score. Ask for and verify at least 3 references each for work, personal, and previous landlords if possible. Carefully check all documents and look for inconsistencies. Be cautious if anyone that will sign the lease without a showing first seems overly anxious to sign the lease documents and moved in, and wants you to delay the identity and document check until the lease is signed. And if you are a tenant, consider the essentials. With money scams on the rise, watch out for these important red flags in rental market. Poorly written listings along with things like blurry photos and obscured address details. Rental amount is lower than what similar units or homes in the area are offered for. A hurry to secure a rental deposit always deserves extra scrutiny. Request that a deposit or first and last month be sent to the landlord via wire transfer before a property may be viewed, or to secure the lease. Due to certain circumstances, no in-person visits are possible. Peter, the landlord, or variations of other names Ask landlord to show photo ID before sending any funds. Money is hard to make and easy to lose, especially if you tend to trust people more than they deserve. Suspicious rental advertisements placed on different websites, including KGG. Use a real estate agent. Real estate agents do all the legwork when it comes to finding the right place. And tenants do not pay a penny for the service. The fees are actually paid by the landlord who is trying to rent their unit. What to expect? The medium to long-term outlook for rents is strong and demand will continue to outpace supply. Reduced ownership affordability pushes more would-be first-time buyers with higher income levels into the rental marketplace. Rental markets are expected to come under increased pressure. In addition, the anticipated arrival of many new permanent residents who are likely to settle in Toronto and cities near Toronto will support price growth. If you are thinking of leasing your condo, I recommend using real estate services. Realtors have the capacity to filter out a lot of stuff and save you a lot of time. Thank you for watching, and if you want to know more about real estate market in Toronto and York region, do not forget to subscribe. And if you want to know more about condominiums and more, I suggest you watch this video. Thanks.